Take any RPG you've played, strip away the XP, the gear, and the damage numbers. What's left? You kill something, you level up. Your stats go up, but so do the enemies. If you strip all that stuff away, most games wouldn't survive, because what many call progression is really just accumulation. It's more loot, more skills, more stuff. But does any of it really reflect who you become in the game? I started looking outside of games. Where does real growth happen? What kind of systems actually force people to change? And I ended up in the very last place I expected. NASA. Lo and behold, turns out the way they train astronauts isn't built on XP or milestones. It's built on friction, on isolation, on failure, on fatigue. And more than anything, it's built to unlock your best self. That's the kind of system we want our game to have. It's not a perfect one, it's not a flashy one. It's just one that actually matters because the players matter to us. Which is exactly why we are straight up stealing NASA's shit. So, check this out. NASA actually simulates boredom-induced cognitive decay. Turns out that on long missions, one of the biggest psychological threats is that, well, not much happens. So there is no stimulation, there are no surprises, it's just silence and repetition. And in simulations like Nemo, astronauts are monitored for mood drift, cortisol spikes, and even measurable drops in cognitive function. All of this is triggered by monotony. That stuck with us, because in game design, boredom is treated like a bug. It's something to eliminate. But this is the part that really surprised me. NASA doesn't try to eliminate boredom, they weaponize it. They study what boredom actually does to you and how it makes your brain reach, anticipate, and invent. So we asked ourselves, could we do the same? In Tail's Edge, we're not trying to be boring, obviously. Instead, we started to build emotional pacing, moments that breathe, so that when chaos does hit, it lands hard. Because if everything's loud, then nothing feels loud. And if everything's exciting, then nothing feels earned. So here's something else that's wild. NASA doesn't want dominant personalities anymore. Their best predictor of astronaut performance is not IQ and it's not experience, it's agreeableness. So after partnering with psychologists in the early 2000s, NASA started screening for empathy, openness, and low neuroticism. And this is what's so cool for me. The teams that get along consistently, they outperform other teams that just have the smartest people, especially when they're under pressure. So we asked ourselves, what if our hero Red doesn't progress just through power, but also through connection? In Tail's Edge, how you treat others, including NPCs, your tone, timing, and restraint, it all unlocks new abilities, it opens new story branches, and it can even prevent conflict entirely. So you don't just become stronger, you become someone that people trust. Or if mayhem's your thing, well, then you can become someone others fear. So killing, looting, raiding, all that's on the table. But you want to be careful what you wish for. Tyrants tend to put up a pretty big target on their head. All right, this last one's personal. NASA studied mental breakdowns from isolation a lot. They've discovered something fascinating, not about why they occur, but when they occur. It turns out that they hit 3/4 through, not at the start and not at the very end. It's literally called the third quarter phenomenon. So right when people think that they've adapted in the second half of their journey, their motivation crashes, irritability starts to spike, cohesion falls apart. Does it sound familiar with any narrative games you've played? The pacing usually goes to hell 3/4 through. The stakes start to blur, the arcs start to stall. Players stop caring right before the finale and they start focusing on side quests and other stuff. So we decided to treat the third act differently, not as build-up, but as breakdown. In Tail's Edge, the story doesn't just escalate, it fractures. Characters you trusted start to pull away, plot threads loosen, Red begins to question everything she's seen. It's intentional narrative dissonance. It's mirroring what isolation does to the human mind, because the real reward in any venture worth doing is overcoming adversity. So yeah, we stole NASA's training protocol. Not to make our game more realistic, but to give you something most games don't. A chance to earn who you become. Not by stacking gear, but by facing friction, fatigue, and uncertainty. And choosing to grow despite it. It's a tall order. It's a lot of promises. Writing checks now that our egos better cash in when it's time to launch this game, I get that. But no one can argue that real progression has nothing to do with most of the systems that games implement, and it has everything to do with you. All right, so tell me, are we crazy? Are we searching for answers in the wrong places? Or is there actually some real potential in here? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this breakdown interesting, please watch our last video where our whole traversal system started to come to life. It's the one that changed everything for us. And if you want to get hands-on and play test this game before anyone else to help make it better, join our Discord and our dev club. It's free, plus you'll be first in line when it's ready for the beta. And we'll save rocket science for another day.